I'm really happy to introduce my friend David Campbell, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Optimal Networks, based in the Washington, D.C. area. Hey, David.
Hey, David, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Uh,
Fantastic.
for about a few weeks ago, you posted a comment on LinkedIn that really caught my eye and I thought was impactful about how, the social justice issue has become quite real for you, that you battle biases in the technology world throughout your career, and that it's time for the politicians to step aside in dealing with this issue, and getting business to lead the way to move the movement forward. So can you just discuss a little bit about how events since the George Floyd incident has impacted you and just raised your call to action?
Yes, David, and thanks for putting this together. I was with a group of IT managed service providers, CEOs, and executives at a conference. And my partner and CEO, Hanan Landa, who is an amazing leader, brought up the question of how organizations like ours were going to deal with the fallout of the Floyd incident with their employees of color, because we have a number of other Black employees, and we were noticing that they were really struggling after this. And one of the people who were running the program said, "This is not a business issue. This is a political issue." And I was incensed instantly, and I shot back. I said, "My right to be is not a political issue. My right to be able to prosper without having to carry these boulders with me, that's not a political issue. And a right for all of us to have the opportunity to realize our full potential in this land of dreams and full potential. That's not a political issue. That's a human issue. And if you don't understand that, we have a real problem." So I really struggled. I was very angry with that. But then I realized that this is the moment. And if these people in this very small, and they run this group, they oversee our meetings. If they don't believe that this is not a business issue, then where do we go? And so I sat here and I thought about it, and I cried, and I wanted to just kind of just ball up, and kind of shrink away from this. And then I thought, I've been standing on the shoulders and the graves of people who chose to stand up before me, and I haven't really done anything. And now I'm being called. I wrote that because business was always supposed to be the great equalizer. It was supposed to be a place where if you were a hard worker, if you were someone who was diligent, if you knew how to apply your talent and skill, and you were a good communicator, that business did not recognize race. It has always been a place where if you have a problem, you call businesses to solve it. You call your local congressman when you want to complain. You call a business owner when you want to get results.
What are things in your industry and technology that can be done to improve the numbers, the career development, the professional development?
Look, I think what we suffer from in our society, especially in technology, and you see it, is we suffer from look at me syndrome. And what I mean by look at me syndrome is almost every large IT company has a diversity and inclusion program. I personally do not like diversity programs because I feel, and this is just my opinion, I feel that diversity programs are put in place when your organization realizes you have a diversity problem. And you put in a diversity program, but you don't change anything else. You grab somebody, you put them in this diversity inclusion, and then you pilot a couple of small programs, but you don't really change anything at the executive level where all the decisions are actually made. You don't then create the environment and the incentive for people to follow and to become part of the solution. You still have hiring managers who are hiring based on biases because you have not put in place any very objective measures. And then you get awarded because you have a diversity program. All the while, your numbers are really not changing. You just hired an extra black person to help run the diversity program.
Yeah, no, and I think that's really descriptive of what's going around in the legal profession, because it seems like leadership in many cases pushes this problem down to middle management, who are not empowered to affect genuine change or authentic change.
Yeah.
And they pat themselves on the back saying, look what we've done. The result of that is that people of color in these organizations feel obligated that they have to represent the firm at every diversity and inclusion conference, at lunch events, while their white colleagues are going out with clients and doing business development and career development. And like you said, it's just spinning the wheel, and we're not moving. So how can leadership, CEOs, members of the board, members of the executive leadership team, what steps can they take that are substantive and impactful to even begin to address this issue?
So in the post, I said in the post that businesses will do what leadership determines is most important to actually address, and they won't do anything else. And so if you want to know what businesses can do, and this is why I'm very passionate about this, if you are the CEO of an organization and you look around your leadership and everyone looks like you have a problem. If you believe if that's an issue, because if you don't believe that's an issue, you're never going to do anything. And so let's assume that you look at it and you are enlightened and your name is not Mark Zuckerberg, and you want to do something, then the first thing you do as a leader is you make it a priority in your organization, not by hiring a diversity and inclusion VP and then shoving that person out in front of you to do the work. The person in power in your organization goes and tells your organization, we have not done enough to diversify our organization. The statistics on how diversity strengthens the workforce and how it strengthens the bottom line is clear. We want our organization to have a very, very strong bottom line. And if for no other reason than I want to make sure that we continue to be successful, we need to be as diverse as we can possibly be. So I am going to be personally overseeing our ongoing efforts to make us an organization that only looks at talent and only looks to develop talent based on potential and our commitment to give everybody a shot at being the best that we want them to be. Anything short of that, we are going to root out of our organization. So when you come in and you apply for a position here, I am coming to a place where talent and my desire and my fit with the organization are the things that are going to get me hired, not whether or not I look like all of the hiring managers.
So thanks again, David. Really appreciate it, and look forward to next time.
Thank you.